So I'm back. I've been busy. All right, you can see the work table's clear because I got the GSX 1100G over there by the door. What I was saying before, this was a radiator cap from a Model T or Model A, I don't remember which. And there was a fairly well-known author from Huron, South Dakota, Mark Smith. And Mark passed away here not too long ago. Heck of a nice guy. I think he knew he was dying because I went to visit him, and he proceeded to start giving me things from his garage. I said, "Oh wow, that's a beautiful little radiator cap." I said, "What was that with the wings?" He said, "Oh, that's a radiator cap to a T or an A. I don't remember which. I'm not really familiar with vehicles of that vintage." But he hands it to me. Just, here, take that. Well, you see it's threaded on the outside. So my quick measurement says it's somewhere in the market of a 2-inch 18 thread per inch thread. 218. Now, maybe it was aftermarket because it's about 1.975 major diameter. So it's not really 2, but it's definitely 18. It sure as hell isn't metric. So anyway, what I started doing instead is I kind of back figured the major to the minor and got in there with a 60-degree threading insert and single pointed threaded a hunk of tubing here. And then that's not counterbored, actually pressed in a separate piece on this end with a half 13 hole in the middle to make this coupler. There. So anyway, I can say I made that thread on the inside to 2-inch 18 thread per inch, except what I actually did is I just made a pass, checked the part, made a pass, checked the part until the little brass cap fit into the thread. So it's a custom made part there. So that'll hold him now. And that's a half 13 hole. So it'll allow me to rotate, because let's say I bolt him down here and that's forward. Oops, all right, it's not pointed forward. But anyway, by that being threaded, which I can do my bolt on the backside and I can make sure that he lands facing forward and then Loctite him in place if need be. So anyway, I got that done. There, it's a nice little piece. But that's the sort of silly little stuff I do around here. But guys like Mark Smith, he had a good garage like this one, and he made stuff and he worked on stuff. And an old vintage race car he had a hand in too is in a museum in Huron. I should stop by and take a look at that. Fairly well known. I don't remember if it was 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, but anyway, it's a kind of an iconic race car in the Huron area. Here was the other thing I worked on. So I have my official casting sand rather than my moon sand, and it dried out, and then I was asking supposed experts how to revive it, and one person said, well, you had to mix oil back into it. So I did that, and then the next guy pops up with, what color is it? I said, gray. He says, oh, the gray stuff, you're supposed to use water. Well, too late, I'd already dumped in the oil. Oops, that's what I get for getting advice off the internet. But I tried to use it anyway and make another one of those Peterbilt forms, and you can see it, a big porosity and big pockets. And I think that was pockets of gas, of smoke as it was smoking. But I could still maybe use that sand if I was doing a cavity, if I printed a cavity out of wax or something. So I'm going to cut this back up and remelt it. But it's kind of a lesson learned about taking advice from people off, even when I say off the internet in general, but specifically off of Facebook pages where they're supposedly into metal casting. It's no guarantee you're going to get an expert. But it didn't fill well. I don't know if I needed to let it sit there and get hotter and hotter and hotter, because you can see it didn't fill well over here. Anyway, it was kind of a fail. I'll cut it all back up and remelt it and do it again. But I got the lift table all cleared and ready for that Moto Guzzi that's going to be showing back up. Maybe I'll work on a fender for the sidecar rig over there for a bit. And I don't know. I could bring the sidecar for metallic waste in and actually hang it on the GSX 1100G. But as I got it off the lift, the brakes in the back brake caliper was dragging something awful. So, all right, guess I have to disassemble that brake caliper further. I had just bled it out and thought that was good enough, and nope, I'm going to have to disassemble that caliper because it's dragging. So usually what that is the O-ring in the piston bore for the brake caliper has got some dried fluid behind it, and you have to scrape that out and clean it out real good, put it back together, bleed it out, and that'll usually cure it. But anyway, Jenny Mac, when I post this, I'll actually tag Jenny Mac in it, because Jenny Mac was also a friend of Mark Smith's, and she'll appreciate this little hood ornament. I'll be able to mount it. Probably I'll put it on one of my sidecars, probably. But yeah, kind of a neat little bit of South Dakota history. Mark Smith gave me that, and before he passed away, and now we'll actually be able to mount it on something. There you go, guys.